I've been in Honolulu for a week, and I have been dressed like this the whole time. In case you were wondering, yeah, this is what I wear all the time. There were people who, recognized me on the street, said, hey, and then there were people who didn't recognize me at all and said, hey, are you all right? Like, something going on? Aren't you hot? And, yeah. But it's been beautiful. It's been amazing to just walk around, see everything, meet people. This is, man, y'all are very chill. Like, I know it's a stereotype, but it's also happening, and it is just coming from someone who lives in New York. It is genuinely jarring. It's like, this is wild. Y'all even know this is. Everybody's so chill, which I understand is a beautiful place. This is an incredible place. It truly is. You're still on planet Earth, though. So, like, do you know what I mean? Like, a little disrespectful to not be freaking out a touch more. Yeah, I mean, it's charming, but only to a point. It's genuine. Y'all live, even here is so beautiful, but also this is dangerous too. Y'all don't seem bothered at all. This is active volcanoes. They're active volcanoes, actors. The ones that do it. The ones that volcane are here. And y'all are like, do you want to go see it? Because it might do it. Wouldn't that be crazy if it did it while we were there and then we saw it do it? Yeah, it would be crazy. It would be insane. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good watching from the comfort of my TV. It's like, no, you gotta go to witness. It's like, you don't have to be a witness to everything. Sometimes you could just hear a story and it's fine. Active volcanoes. No one's bothered. No one, wow. I've been places where nothing was gonna happen and they were freaking out more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have friends in San Francisco. And those friends in San Francisco, like, any day now, we could slip into the ocean. We could just break off. We just snap like a Twix. We could just. All right, I mean, if you really thought that, why are you paying a mortgage? That's a little wild, right? That you think you're gonna slip into the ocean, but also, you gotta do something. No, it blows my mind. No, it's been so cool to be here. I had no idea what it would be like to see this many roosters roam free. Look, you're gonna have to be patient with me, all right? Because I didn't know. There's a lot I didn't know. This trip has been teaching me a lot I didn't know. I didn't know most things. So I get here and I see a rooster, but I'm like, oh, he probably got loose. Like, I hope somebody find their rooster. I'm like, oh, because I hate to see, you know what I mean? Like, I hate to see like a lost pet or animal companion just out in the wild like that. And it was walking on pavement like it owned it. And then I heard like a rooster, and it wasn't. I really thought, this is how I grew up on cartoons. I really thought they only made noise like in the morning. I was positive that was like the nature's alarm clock. I didn't know they were like dogs and they could just go whenever they wanted. So now I'm waking up and like, I'm not saying I hear a rooster every time I wake up. I'm just saying like I wake up and because of the jet lag, I live in New York. So because of the jet lag, I'm waking up earlier, just naturally than I would otherwise. And so I'm waking up and then you might hear a rooster at the time that I wake up because it's very early. Like the sun is not out yet, right? And then the sun is out. And then I'm walking around and I hear a rooster again and I'm like, that can't be right. I'm positive that's not right because I know it's been all day today. And far be it from me, like whenever an animal is very good at something, I try to just trust that. Like I understand the groundhog thing, we kind of made that up, that's not exactly right, but I still check to see what the groundhog said, right? Because people used to go off of it. Now with the roosters seem completely unreliable. I understand this is the rooster's whole thing, but I will go ahead and start looking for myself. And the way that y'all just don't even acknowledge them, I felt like I was on drugs. I was looking around at the roosters and I was like, all right, so nobody gonna come get. You try to call animal control of the roosters and they hang up. It's very upsetting. Why would you? I didn't know roosters were like rabbits. Like maybe if you just let 2 roosters hang out for too long, you get 8 roosters and then 16 and then 64. And then no matter where you go, there's a rooster doing, I guess, nothing. I don't know what they do. 5 o'clock, I heard a rooster, and I was like, oh, poor baby. He gotta be blind. That's why I said, no, don't do that. That's him guessing. He guessing right now. And then I realized I was completely off base. They don't just stop making noise because of the time of day. Wow. You learn something every day you should already know. That's deeply embarrassing. It's been beautiful. It's so beautiful, and everybody is so like laid back. Not every single person, but like as a general state is laid back. The people who I see freaking out, the people who I really see freaking out are not from here. You know what I mean? Like the people, there are a lot of people, like you could tell, you could tell who's like from here and not from here also by how there's a look. There's a look in the eyes of a person who like when somebody just got here, they seem like they could be from here because they're so excited to be here. When somebody just got here, they're like, oh wow. And once again, just outside looking in, y'all do that too. Like y'all do have just the locals I've met have been like, man, what a day. And then the last day hits, it's time to go home, and you can tell it's a different look on their face. Their eyes different, because they finally got the bill from whatever. Same mannerisms too, just like. Oh, but it's been beautiful to just walk around and see so many people that know how to swim. That is. Swimming. Okay, swimming for me has been trial and error. It's been a trial of errors. And it's like whenever people are like, people don't want to believe that I don't fully believe that I can swim. I'll talk to people and they'll be like, yeah, but you could like swim to save your life though, right? And I'm like, I don't want to find out. I feel like that's one of the main reasons I stay on land is because I'm not sure. What a test. What a test. What a test to fail. And then now you know. Now I know. Now I know I can't swim. That's a crazy thing. But you could swim to save your life, right? Isn't that swimming? Isn't that the whole swimming? Whether you're swimming for fun or you're swimming to save your life, aren't you still the same amount of upright over the water? That's a crazy thing to ask somebody. Imagine somebody's on crutches. Someone's on crutches and you're like, yeah, but you can like run to save your life, right? It's like, maybe. Why would I want to find that out though? Why would I put myself in a running situation? Why would I on crutches walk up and slap a bigger man than me? Just to see if maybe, who knows? It might be like having 3 legs, having these crutches, and being on 1 foot. And then you see people surfing. I love watching people surf at home. When I'm at home, I'll watch any surf documentary. I love surfers. I think it's so cool. I love watching them do tricks. I love watching it. You could just be regular swim. One of the things I've had in the background before is just like a beachy waves, like looping video for hours, and it was people just like whether they were swimming or surfing, they were all surrounding each other in the water. I personally, this is just a me thing. This is not a reflection on anybody else. I cannot watch it. I can't. If I'm at the beach and I'm watching people surf, I'm like, how are they not running over every head they come across? Like when you're watching on TV and the camera is just on them, you're like, look at how coordinated they are. They're so cool. Look at them move. Man, I wish my hips moved like that. But then when you're watching and you're like, well, there's somebody's head. Oh, they missed. Okay. I watched my friends. One time I went to a beach with my friends. My friends went swimming and they came back and they were like, you sure you don't want to get in? And I was like, you keep asking me if I could swim to save my life, but then also ask me if I want to get in. I think I'm good. I'm good on the beach right here where it's level, where if I drown, it's my fault. But you're over there having a great time swimming. Yay, backstroke, everything. You didn't even see. There was a dude surfing around. You almost died 3 times. I saw it. He almost ran you right over. I don't even know how that would work. It doesn't even, like, here's the thing. I don't know how surfing works. You're about to find that out. But it doesn't even seem that bad if you got like ran over by a surfboard in the water that was past you until you get to those 3 teeth in the back. Like that seems like it would hurt. Like, because I'm not saying the board's gonna hit them in the head. I'm just saying they're like coming up at the same time as somebody's passing, and everyone is so fluid with it. That's stressful. I know it's a gorgeous dance, but I'm watching this dude, just one twist of his ankle, he could have taken out 2 people right there. So you see the big waves that people surf on, right? Those huge waves that people surf on, and then they're coming down from the wave. I don't know why. Maybe I was never paying attention in the movies or in the competitions I'd watch on TV, but there's people in there. That's crazy. Why isn't that a sport? That seems like it should be a sport to get in the middle of the wave and not drown. You'll see these big waves, and then there's people surfing the wave, and then there's just a guy in the middle like, did he even mean to get in? That's too much going with the flow. I'm already worried about flat water. If I got caught in a wave, I can't even fathom. If I got caught in a wave and started shooting up, I already can't swim. I can't also drown up. Imagine 10-foot wave, you inside. Which way do you swim when you're up? If you're in the wave, if you're here, where are you supposed to go? You're not even caught in like an undertow getting sucked down. You are about to shoot up in the air. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Oh, I'd be so embarrassed if I drown up. I don't even know if they let you into heaven, because you would be explaining like, listen, I was in the water, all right? But then there was really sick wave. There was a guy on it, crushing it. But I was in the middle, and I was real high up in the air. I could actually see that I was like above land. But there was too much water in front of my face for me to take a breath. Maybe, if I had been snorkeling, I would have had that stick, and I could have leaned out and sucked some air. But alas, I was regular swimming. You can tell I'm not from here because I'll go to the beach and I'm not having a beachy time like everybody else. I go to the beach, I don't get in the water. That already probably looks suspicious. That looks like I'm just there to watch, which is, people watching at the beach is like sweet unless you're doing nothing. Like if you also went to swim and now you're like, look at everybody having a good time, you know what I mean? Or if you were like building a sandcastle and you're like, look at everybody, oh, it's so beautiful and everything. Or if you were surfing and then you take a break, look at everybody. But when you're me and you just went to go, and you just standing on the beach dressed like this, I'm sure I look like a ghost from something. I'm sure. I probably look like the ghost to somebody out there surfing of like a hit and run they did or something. Just because I don't know anybody out there, so it's not like I'm waving. I'm just. No. I go to the beach exactly dressed like this, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. I'm sure they think I'm the police. Like, I'm positive. This one time I went to the beach, and I was just walking. I was truly minding my own business. I even stepped out of my comfort zone. I even took the shoes and socks off. I know you thought that I was doing that already, and I was not. No, when I say dress like this, I mean fully. I mean like head to toe like this. And so I had taken my shoes and my socks off. I was walking, feeling the sand under my feet. I was like, man, I get what people are, wow. This is nice. This is as nice as they say. This is beautiful. It's all happening, right? And then as I take a step, all right, this wasn't my fault. This was not. You gonna judge me? And that's fine. I've accepted I'm gonna be judged, but this is not my fault. Okay, I'm walking, right? And then I feel something. Okay? I feel something. And it's not like glass. I didn't cut my foot. That would have been better. I was walking and I feel something. I take a step and I feel something and I realize I can't take another step. I feel it around my ankle and I can't take another step. And somebody had buried themselves in the sand and then grabbed my ankle, right? And grab my ankle, right? And so grabbed it good too. Like this is crazy. This is the most Mad Max thing I've ever seen in my life. Already buried in the sand, but then grabbed my ankle and I turn around and I see a hand and nothing else. And so I'm like, ha, ha, ha! I scream, right? I scream, okay? And so I'm walking, grab my ankle, I stop, I look, I scream. All of this very reasonable so far, right? All of this is on the other person. Okay, so then I try to pull away. I can't because no quad strength, I don't know. But like I can't pull away like I want to. And so then as I try to pull away, I try to pull away twice. And this is still out of panic. I still don't even know what's happening really. I just know that there's a hand around my ankle and there's nothing else, right? And then I finally turn around and see the hand and keep screaming. So I have screamed for too long now, right? Like I should have processed what was happening. So then out of fear, I start stomping the hand off my other foot, right? So it's right here, and I'm... Right? So I stomp a while. Now, to be fair to me, they did hold on, all right? So then I'm stomping. Then they sit up, right? They did sit up, which should have clued me into exactly what was happening, but in the moment only did terrify me more. So then I went from stomp of the head, and I did kick them in the head, okay? I did kick them in the head, and then I ran, right? And I ran, and while I was running, it was when I was processing, like, oh, okay, probably not a zombie. A zombie's hand wouldn't have had more body attached to it. A zombie probably wouldn't have sat up and been a whole person that I kicked. Also wild to do to a stranger. If it had been my friend, they still would have got their hands stomped, right? That was anybody. But then when they sat up and I was like, more? No. So I like the beach. I like it for all of you. I like the beach for everyone who likes going to the beach. And I'll go to the beach and I'll watch you have fun, but that's where it ends for me. Never taking my shoes off again at the beach. Yeah, people are like, but you'll get sand in your shoes. Yeah. Or I could take them off and get hands on my feet. What would you rather? If someone truly came to you and they were like, listen, you could have one random claw on your ankle and foot, or you could have some sand in your shoe, I think you take the sand every time. No. Oof. I got friends that love to swim, and I'm happy for them. I'm very happy for it. It looks fun when they do it. Sometimes I'll go snorkeling. That's when you almost drown, kind of. I don't even fully understand snorkeling because you got the tube. But you're not sucking any air. It's not scuba diving. You got the tube, but then what's the tube for? Because you're just going to exhale. You could have just done that through your mouth. I don't know how to do it. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm positive I'm wrong, but I'm saying when I saw it, when they went under, I was like, you don't need that around your mouth. I hope you don't suck in, because that's going to be water. That's wild that maybe you don't want any bubbles in your face? Is that why you brought the thing down to up the side? Are you trying to convince the fish you're a fish? Is that the plan? No, if they see me breathing out of my mouth all human-like, they'll swim away. I want them to like me. You got friends that'll go scuba dive. Scuba diving looks very fun. That's when you try to drown. That's when you're like, I bet I can get lower. I bet I can get so low that even the water pressure is kind of affecting me. I didn't even know this. People who go that deep scuba dive, people who do the real deep stuff that look like it's from Mission Impossible. You know that stuff that's an action movie where they're you're gonna have to go deeper than anyone's gone before to see this particular fish. And they go down that deep and then they come up, then they gotta get in a tank so that they don't explode. I don't know how some people create a definition of fun. I've never been almost about to explode ever. And I've had a pretty great life. The idea you would go down so deep that now you had a tank. The tank was on you. Then you went down. Now you come back up and they're like, you need to get in a tank immediately. Which I believe these people are experts, but in my head I'm like, but if they came up, aren't they good? You would think, I don't know, it's you're already up here. So just don't take a deep breath, I guess. Just do some little ones. But then they gotta get in a tank so that they level out. so that they can walk around again in not the ocean. Scuba diving just seems wild to me, because then you got the tank, and then they tell you how much air is in the tank, and you just gotta believe them. Nobody's ever been wrong. A tank's never been, because they'll be like, no, it's also on the tank. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you ever in a car and it says it's not on E, but then it does stop. And you're like, oh, this needle isn't as precise as I thought it was, which is upsetting for a needle. You would think as soon as it hits, because I've been in some people's cars, especially those old cars too, where like the needle hitting the E, I would even say it. I'd be like driving with my dad, right? My dad would be picking me up from school or something, and I'd be like, oh, it's on E, just so you know. And he's like, no, we good. And I would say, Father, I know I'm 7, but from what I've heard, I know I'm not a driver. I'm not a driver. From what I've heard, E means empty. It looks like we're very close to empty and we're not already at home. No, we're good. We're good. It's gotta go past the needle to really be out. Just because it's touching the E doesn't mean we're at E. It gotta go past the E, and then that's E. And I'm like, oh, then why didn't they put the E there? Seems odd that they put the E nowhere near where the E is. It's like, it's just the way cars made, son. I was like, Dad, look, I know I'm little, but I can handle it. You can tell me right now if we're poor, all right? That logic doesn't make sense at all. No, it's on E, but it's like not on E. I'm like, what are you saving up for? Because you see people, I'm sure y'all see people all over, Midwest, Northeast, the South, the western parts of the country, all these people, freaking out. Freaking out, and not without reason. You saw leading up to the election, eggs are $12. We had no idea. For everything that we complain about, things are like twice as expensive for y'all. How are y'all not complaining every day? I can't believe that doesn't make you angry to see someone from Indianapolis be like, the apple juice was $6 before and it's $8 today. That doesn't seem fair or right. Meanwhile, here it's $22. And not only is it $22, there's one jug. Like even when you got the money, you got to make sure you get there first. And still, how? And still, y'all are like, with enough time, with enough patience, and with enough elbow grease, you'll make your own apple juice. You just gotta... sometimes when I'm upset, sometimes when life is getting me down, something really grinds my gears, I just try to take it out and try to exercise it in a productive way, you know what I mean? So whenever I'm really angry, I'll get something and I'll just like grind something down, right? Just grind it down over and over again. And then I started to do that with the apples, and then I made apple juice, and now I'm fine. What? No, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, this is wow. I know I'm still on planet Earth, but whoa. You know what I mean? It does feel like, and I'm really not saying this in a way that is just trying to like butter you up or anything, but this does feel like a different dimension, because the 7-Eleven is like nice. You need to understand. Like, even though you're clapping and you're cheering, I don't even think you understand what you're clapping and cheering for. The 7-Eleven being nice. The 7-Eleven being nice is like, it's like if you turned the AR-15 into bubbles. It's like, what? First of all, how? Second, this is not what this is supposed to do. This is just 7-Eleven. I can tell you right now, in every other part of America, the back of 7-Eleven specifically is for drug use. And look, maybe that's happening here and everybody just has a real good attitude about it. I have no idea. But the 7-Eleven in New York, okay, so look, the 7-Eleven in New York, this is just an example of how bad it can get, right? There are some places where people who are in any way sort of down on their luck, truly unfortunate, truly having like a rough go of everything, will try to find some way. They need some money. They need something, right? And so they will hang out outside the 7-Eleven. And one of the things that some people do, especially in New York, is they will hold the door open for you when you go in. They'll open the door for you when you walk out, right? All in the hope that maybe if you have spare change or if you could get them something, that you will give them something for that thing. Let me try to do you this small service in return for something, right? Because they don't have anything, you know? And that's something that's like common practice in New York at plenty of places. And the 7-Eleven that I went into in New York, I saw a guy, he was standing in front of the door, he had his hand on the door handle, and I like nodded at him. I was like, hey, how's it going? And then I went to walk into the 7-Eleven and I hit the door. I hit the door because this man wasn't opening it for people. He was charging people to get in. Which is frankly a better business model. That is pretty good. No. You go into a 7-Eleven. You go into a 7-Eleven in New York City. Let's say they just mopped. Let's say the best of circumstances, they just mopped, right? There's a wet floor sign, but what's that gonna do? What's that really gonna do? They just put those out so they don't get sued. What is that really meant to do? It's a wet floor sign over there. I walked in, it's wet right here. And if you fall, if you slip in a 7-Eleven, if you slip in a 7-Eleven in New York City, you have to burn whatever part of you fell. Because I know they mopped, but they didn't mop to clean it. They mopped to move around whatever was the reason for mopping in the first place. So if you walk in and you see that wet floor sign all the way over there, and you don't know that means the entire floor, everything in here is wet now, and you walk, whoa, and then you slip, and then you fall on your back, you will want to die. Walk into a 7-Eleven here. People smile. I know this is common for you. I know that you don't understand what the difference is. I want you to imagine, goodness forbid, but let's imagine that you went to jail. And when you got there, everybody smiled. Based on your understanding of jail, that wouldn't make you more comfortable. Based on what you think about jail, if you walked in and everybody smiled at you specifically, you would think, uh-oh. And so forgive me if being conditioned by New York City 7-Elevens, walking into a 7-Eleven here and seeing people smile, I don't return it right away. I'm shocked, I'm suspicious. If you walk into a 7-Eleven in New York and everyone is smiling at you, that 7-Eleven is being robbed right now. And these are not sincere smiles. These are the smiles of people who don't want to be shot. This is these smiles. You walk into a 7-Eleven in New York and they're smiling at you, you run. You run, because there's not how. It's a No, people smile at you at 7-Eleven and they aren't even saying anything through their teeth. It's a genuine smile, it's a silent. And they say welcome, and say hello. A smile at a 7-Eleven in New York. Call somebody. It's one with a gun. But I think the other two in on it. Hurry. Not just a nice 7-Eleven with nice people. You got different stuff, which is unfair. You got whole flavors. You got whole flavors I can't pronounce. You go into a 7-Eleven here, and you gotta understand. I've only been to the 7-Elevens I've been to, so. Sorry that I'm uncultured. Everything at the 7-Eleven I'm used to is not like this. You get in there and you get the what is this? Hoapia? Hopia. You go to a 7-Eleven and you get a Hopia Slurpee. I saw the letters and I was like, I didn't even say it right just now. Get the Leehing. These are flavors I'm not used to. I didn't know these flavors had come out. I'm used to going to 7-Eleven and getting some of the most dystopian Mountain Dew type flavors you've ever heard in your life. Just a color to a thing that doesn't exist the way that it says in the flavor. You go to 7-Eleven in New York, you get like a, I don't know, black elephant Slurpee or something like that. Just something that just sounds wrong. Whole time you pulling it, the machine doesn't even want to let it out right away. You pull that thing and the machine is like, And then after a while, you hold it open long enough and the thing is spinning. Finally, the machine is like, if you insist. And when it hit the cup, it doesn't sound right. When they hit the cup, you're like, something hard inside, something soft. I know sounds. This is not all liquid. Not even all ice. Something, then y'all can put 3 rocks and 4 paper clips in here. I can tell from the way it's falling, because it falls with no integrity. It falls with no real consistency at all. How? How? McDonald's is good here. How'd you pull that off? Same company. This is the same, it's one company. That's crazy. That's crazy they would bring all the good McDonald's here and they would make us eat slop everywhere else. McDonald's in New York City is where you do heroin. I don't mean the back like a 7-Eleven. I mean in the restaurant portion of the McDonald's. I mean you order your Big Mac and then you sit down at your table to do your heroin. The Big Mac is just a formality. It was crazy. I was in New York. I was going to a McDonald's, not by choice. My girlfriend wanted to go to McDonald's, and so we went into a McDonald's, and all she ordered was an ice cream cone, one ice cream cone, one cone with ice cream on it. You would think that there's no way the devil could get involved. It's one ice cream. It's ice cream. It's ice cream with a cone. It's simple. We've seen it a million times. It's not revolutionary. And they handed her ice cream with a cone. And before she could even take a bite, she felt something. And she turned the cone, and there was a Band-Aid. Unless we're having a nightmare, how? How do you just have them in the back ready to go? In case anybody thought they were going to enjoy McDonald's in New York City? This is crazy. I just want to let y'all know the planet y'all live on. Because nothing seems to get to y'all. Not like fundamentally, not like real. I'm stressed out for y'all sometimes. I don't even live here, but I remember 2017. I remember in 2017 when that fake missile thing. I remember. How is this still a place? How is it? If that had happened in New York City, real estate prices would have dropped because we'd all be dead. Everyone would have. That's crazy. Imagine what was even said in those moments. You get that text, you finally turn to your spouse, and you're like, it really hadn't been right between us for a long time. And I want to get that out there because I don't want to die with anything on my heart. And then 15 minutes later, you sitting there, look, everybody said stuff. Everybody said something that they meant but didn't mean if we were going to live. How? Wow. I can't imagine getting that message at work. You at work. You might not even like it here. You at work, and then you get the false alarm. You get the, hey, no, you're actually good. Hey, somebody pressed the wrong button. That blows that's how I can tell y'all are actually really good people. The fact that thing happened and so many bosses went unpunched. Y'all thought you were gonna die. And nobody punched their boss right in the nose. Nobody. This is it. This is it. Because the other message didn't go out right away. People thought they were gonna die for like 8 minutes or something. And that's if you looked again. That's like if you checked. You know, some people reacted the way I would react. There were some people that like found, manhole cover, jumped in, everything. All right, okay, yeah, you jumped in. There's some sewage. It's stinky. But you would have lived. You would have, you know what I mean? You would have lived. Then there's other people that, wow. I'm not judging. But truly no initiative. Like, truly, I heard stories from people that were like, yeah, it went off and I just finished my TV dinner. And, you just kept eating the TV dinner that you weren't enjoying. They were like, yeah, I'd rather die full. And then the fact that like there wasn't like a riot. The fact that there wasn't a riot over the person who pressed the message went out, hey, sorry, we pressed the wrong button. And then as a state, y'all were like, stuff happens. It's not like that big a deal. I don't know why everybody's stressing out. Yeah, buttons are confusing. Sometimes I press the wrong button. It's not that big of a deal. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I just have to call a divorce lawyer and he's gonna hold everybody to what they said. That's just not me. That's not me at all. I was in an elevator for too long one time. I told a stranger, I was like, listen, I want you to call this number. This is my mama, all right? In case I don't make it out, I want you to... We were stuck between floors 1 and 2. Who knows though, that drop could have shook me up. No, but I'm amazed. I think, man, I look around and I'm just blown away, you know. There's something very special about being here, which is a reminder that obviously there's more of a commercial presence than there was probably 10 years ago, especially more than there was 30 years ago and everything. But really, when you get here, everything that is so beautiful about being here just requires nothing. It just requires you to be present. There's no, when you look around, there's no amount of money that makes this thing happen. This is just what we've already been given, you know? And especially when you see it in people who appreciate it, it's a reminder that money can buy a comfortable life. It can't buy a good one. You know, I look around. I look around and I try to watch as best as I can and try to be observant. So I know that there's problems and there's people who are struggling and everything, but everything that makes this place special, everything that makes the people special, everything that makes the experiences here unique are things that cannot be bought under any circumstance. You could pay for a nice room somewhere. You could pay for a private cabana. You could do all that stuff, but the actual sunset, the actual sunrise, the people that you meet if you go out and you talk to people, the sort of way of thinking, that entire lifestyle, it costs nothing. It only requires that you be here, that you be present for it, you know? Every beautiful thing, every unconventional thing, it's there's nothing you can take away from it. No matter how much money you acquire, there's nothing that can prepare you for the natural beauty, not just of a place, but of a people and all the things that surprise you when you're really present somewhere, you know? The fact that the Roosters just gonna go whenever, it's that's insane. That's insane, because I think people come here and they think that it works the way it works in other places. There are places you can go all over the US. There are places you can go all over the world where that place is as good to be in as the amount of money you have. You know, you can travel all around the world and I can show you a terrible time in a city. I can show you a great time in the city based on what you can afford, right? And then you come here and it's already here. That blows my mind, you know? That's why I think so many people come here and so many people come here with a sort of expectation because maybe they've already spent the money. Maybe they've already dropped crazy money to have a true, like, beautiful Hawaiian experience. They're gonna have their minds blown. They're gonna see so many beautiful sights and everything. And then they get here and they see how much of it was just already here. It's just in the people. It's just in the routes you take to get somewhere. It's just in noticing, you know? And then they leave, and that's why when they leave, they're like, oh, I could have done this oh no. What did I do? I've been trying to listen to more music because I think that obviously it's important to read, it's important to talk to people, but I think music has a special place where you can learn something. Sometimes there's something that you can get from music that you just cannot get anywhere else. It doesn't hit the same through spoken word, doesn't hit the same way through prose, through like reading it, because I think whether it's melody or it's rhythm, there's something that you open yourself up to when there's music that you wouldn't if there wasn't. Like, it's a hard thing to explain sometimes, but there are little things that are written that stick with me. But then sometimes there's things that are just sung, and maybe it's just because of the way it's sung or something. I like that lyric. Let me think about that more, and then you chew on an idea, right? Music is incredibly powerful. Like, I think about back in Louisiana, I know somebody who she divorced her husband with a singing telegram. Now, you can already imagine how different it hits to maybe be at a dinner and demand a divorce. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of you. I'm always putting up with the same stuff. I want a divorce. You know what I mean? Your server is like, so, no dessert. Or even if you just write someone a letter, they're sitting at home reading this letter in this unsealed envelope. They're just sitting there reading it like, what? But to have a singing telegram show up, knock on your door, be hitting the music, you know, little stereo, standing there. Beat starts, they're just, I am your singing telegram. And then they give you the worst news of your life. Dancing to it too. She doesn't want to see you anymore. You become a bore. She wants a divorce. And putting his hand out for a tip. You know, music hits different. I think sometimes one of the most beautiful ways to remember somebody that you lost is through music. You know, sometimes, you know, you'll tell a story or something, and if the story doesn't hold a significance for a person, it just doesn't, they don't capture the thing that you captured when you talked to them or when the story happened. Maybe you had to be there, maybe you had to know the person, but when somebody leaves a song behind, that's like timeless in a way. We lost a very important person, legendary person. We lost Quincy Jones, right? And if you don't know who Quincy Jones is, just educate yourself. I mean, Quincy Jones is not just a legend, an icon of culture, of music, but something deeper, like understood. Quincy understood people, understood music, understood storytelling, right? Quincy was one of the master collaborators. There were people that you love, and you love their work, and you don't know Quincy's in it. You know, like that. It's that way with Michael Jackson. Quincy and Michael Jackson had major hits. Michael Jackson owed some of his biggest hits to his collaborations with Quincy Jones, because Quincy could help pull out the best parts of the person he was collaborating with. And there's even stories. There's legendary stories that Quincy Jones has told. More stories than I could ever even attempt to describe. Like crazy stuff. This man lived one of the most remarkable lives in American history. And there's stories that are so insane that Quincy's like not even in the story, but he's in the story. Like he's not even a part of the story, but the story came together because of Quincy. As an example, I heard the story. It's a little bit less than a rumor.
but a part of me wants it to be true because it's fantastic. Quincy had daughters. Quincy's daughters were, one of them was Khadijah, and at one point Khadijah apparently was dating Tupac, right? And this still blows my mind. So Tupac, through potential collaborations that they were supposed to do, knows Michael Jackson, right? Michael Jackson obviously knows Quincy Jones from the hits that they made together and everything. But there's this one time where when Tupac was leaving somewhere with Khadijah, like, I don't know if it was like a dance club or something like that, but they were having an argument. And you know, one of those arguments that you see where you're like, I don't know, is this bad? This, you know, like as a couple, when you see them, and maybe it was that whisper fight, and you know that thing that couples do, it's like, I'm just That's a big one at restaurants, you know. Oh yeah, you ever date somebody that could curse you out with those whispers? They hitting all the F's. Nobody hears, but and you know, if you passing by, I don't know, is this a bad fight? Who knows? Or maybe they were having a screaming match. It doesn't seem like it because it seemed like kind of one sided. Like Tupac was very annoyed with Khadijah trying to get her to come along and everything. And we've all been in a situation, if you've just been out, where you've seen a couple argue and you're like, is this bad? Do you know what I mean? Like you've been in a Walmart parking lot where you were like, is this just how they talk to each other? Or like, should I step in or something? Because this is uncomfortable, you know? And I'm not picking on Walmart. I've been to a Golden Corral and just waiting to be seated, and you're like, all right, they about to eat together? That doesn't seem like a happy occasion. And so, you know, Tupac was saying something tantamount to like, come on, girl, hurry up, come on, right? They're leaving as Michael Jackson is coming in, and Michael Jackson sees this, and so he approaches Tupac because of the closeness that he has with Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones' daughters are like Tupac's nieces to a certain degree. It's like that with any close friendship, you know? This is your uncle. Well, we're not related, but that's your uncle, right? And he says, hey, is everything okay? I don't like how you're talking to her. You need to chill out. You need to calm down, right? And then Tupac apparently says to Mike, hey, back up, all right? This is none of your business. Be about your way, all right? And then Mike was like, no, you don't understand. This is pretty much my niece. You're not going to talk to her any type of way, especially in public. You need to calm down, right? And then tells him again, you need to back up. You need to back off, right? And then according to the story, Michael Jackson beat Tupac's ass. I know how it sounds. But this is my thing. When I look at Tupac, and I look at Michael Jackson, I can't help but wonder if the two of them in a way are like the inverse of each other. You know? Because we've seen from footage of this person that Tupac is, right? This incredibly adept poet, this person who pulls the tenderness out of horrific things and expresses that tenderness back through music or just through written word. That type of poet, that person is in some ways a sensitive person. Like a sensitive soul. Maybe not soft, maybe not, you know. But there's someone who clearly has a sensitive side that they can access. And I think that a lot of like thug life, a lot of the street stuff, some of that is to sell records. Some of that he was really living. But you can't help but wonder how much of this persona is a persona to sell, to market, and how much of this is actually him. Because what if, when no one's around, behind closed doors, when you're just chilling, this guy is a sweetheart, sensitive person. You know, it's what's been said about him through people who knew him. And Mike, you look at Michael Jackson, we know Michael Jackson was abused horribly. Joe Jackson beat those kids. And you go through your life like that with abuse, it can harden a person. And maybe behind closed doors, when no one was around, maybe Mike was like a little bit more hardened than we'd like to believe. You know? So imagine that. You're fighting Michael Jackson. be upsetting. I can't imagine trying to fight Michael Jackson, the king of pop. I can't imagine him fighting without doing moves for no reason. Imagine trying to fight Michael Jackson and he punch you, but he moving his leg. The leg not involved in the punch. You have the king of pop, right? And you have Tupac. Tupac is on the Everest of hip hop, right? Tupac, for better or for worse, created an entire lane of hip hop that people went down and either created some of the best artistry that I think personally has been known to man musically, and then some people who leaned into the street side a little too much and it just became something destructive. But Tupac is up there, and Tupac is who you would imagine would be beating on anybody, right? I'm not saying Tupac couldn't fight. All I will say is that the one fight that I saw Tupac in is the one that we can all see him in. It's the night that he was fighting with those dudes in Vegas. You know? A bunch of guys on his side, guys on the other side, everybody getting beat. I'm not saying Tupac couldn't fight. I'm saying the way that I saw him fighting in that video looked like the way all of us might try to double dutch. Do you know what I mean? Because there was a big cartoonish scuffle, just feet in the air, fists out of the, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, like with those Looney Tunes smoke clouds of fights and everything, and Tupac was outside of it, and you could tell he was trying to find his place. He was like, and now, you're fighting Michael Jackson. Someone so horrifically coordinated. He hitting you and then pop it and lock it. Doing all these extra moves and stuff. Michael Jackson probably the only person in human history that could be beating somebody's ass and sound like he getting beat at the same time. Just, he punching you, kicking you, and then he the one be like, ow! Be mad as hell. You trying to fight Michael Jackson. You trying to swing on him and everything. And every time you think you really got a good one, you planned it out, you know, the fist is gonna go in his face and I'm swinging with all your might. And then he's just doing these dumbass leans. It's gotta be terrifying. Trying to fight Michael Jackson, he got enough cardio to dance for 3 concerts. You know, and he thin too, so he hard to hit, he moving off. You swinging at him, he's saying stuff to you, words that don't make any sense. I got you. What am I supposed to do? Whispering to you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, especially if you have a fondness for a person, there's at least rumor that there are these tracks that got scrapped between Michael Jackson and Tupac. They were supposed to be on some songs together, right? So it's not as if they didn't know each other. And now imagine, you know this person. And you don't want to hurt them. They were talking disrespectfully to someone else that you love, and maybe they pushed you first, and now you're fighting. And then, you know, you hit them, and you hit them hard. You hit them real good. Now Tupac bent over and everything. Michael Jackson, he didn't even want to say it, but he's like, "Are you okay?" The way I imagine it, Tupac gathered himself and was like, "No, I'm not done. I can't go out like this." And he just went back in, you know, swinging at him and everything. And Michael Jackson went to kicking. And that, even when Michael Jackson was dancing, he wouldn't kick normal. He was never just like doing a kick. It was always like his leg was gonna come off. The whole kick. And now you stand there, you've been kicked 17 times, you still standing up, got all these footprints on you like you got run over at a marathon or something. Your friends roll up to you and now you gotta be like, it was 6 of them. They came out of nowhere. They all had the same shoe on. Oh, this is brutal. You know what I mean? Imagine you fighting somebody you respect too. You gotta fight one of your heroes. It's unnerving. Beating you up. Fixing his hat for no reason. Because hearing about this fight, hearing about this rumor reminded me of a different rumor that I heard about Michael Jackson. Something that, I don't know. I mean, you can take it or leave it. I don't know. It's something that I believed for a little while because of who was saying it. But basically, Michael Jackson had such a passion for the specific art that he was doing. Not just the music, not just the spectacle, but just the whole thing. So much so that he would let it spill off stage. And all of it became a persona. All of it became a presentation, performance, almost all the time. And one of the ways that it presented itself was not just in how he dressed and how he looked and stuff, but also how he spoke. Because there's an idea that if you can be meek enough, if you could be gentle enough, if you could be soft-spoken enough, that people's perceptions of you almost pass past you and just see the music. If you're not this big, larger-than-life character, if you're not getting in trouble all the time, maybe if people can just see me as this, like, the same kid that they fell in love with, now just making bigger and better things, maybe they'll love the bigger and better things I have to make, right? And so there's a rumor from a few different people who knew Mike well, who would chill with him, sometimes just out by themselves, when there was no risk of being seen by the public. And they said that that voice, the voice that we know as Michael Jackson, the voice that's been, imitated over decades, was not his voice. That's what they said, that if you were hanging out with Michael Jackson, you just chilling with him at his house, he actually had a way more like level register than that, which is something that shocked me, because I was like, wow, imagine putting that much into a performance, that it's like off stage and it's everywhere, it's everyone that you meet, you're shaking hands with people, you're meeting people, and that's still not quite you. You're still putting it on a little bit, right? But now imagine you're fighting Michael Jackson. And not only is he beating your ass, but every once in a while he's like, come here, bitch. Like, that's gotta be maybe the most shocking part. I don't know what I would do. You're fighting Michael Jackson, and he's making 3 different noises at the same time. He got a low one, he got a high one, he's saying weird stuff. Not only do you have to fight Michael Jackson, you gotta fight a possessed version of Michael Jackson, I'm assuming, because you've never heard him talk like this. No. That's one of the funniest images I have in my head, is Michael Jackson punching you in your forehead, and they'll be like, what's up, nigga? Like, that's... No, what's really hood, dog? What's really... Imagine, like, you're Tupac, you're getting beat, presumably in front of some people, by Michael Jackson. At a certain point, you gotta be like, guys, somebody must have a gun. Shoot this man. Even if you try to shoot him, Michael Jackson probably like catching the bullets. Maybe he knocks you down. You laying on the ground. You ever seen somebody get beat? I know I'm digressing to digress, but like this, you ever see somebody get beat up real bad, and all of a sudden it's almost like they have a cold or something because they start coughing. You know, it's like they get punched a couple times, they're like, and then like Michael Jackson rolls you over with his foot, walks around you all disrespectful, just fixing his belt and stuff. He's standing over. You don't know what's about to happen next. You don't know if he's gonna curb dance you or You're waiting for him. Is Michael Jackson gonna kill me? And then he's looking down at you. Maybe you even try to get up one more time. Maybe you got a little fight left. I can't go out like this. I have Thug Life tattooed on me. You give it all you got. You swinging at Michael Jackson. You kicking at him and stuff. And you got to worry about extra. You got to worry about like extra things with Mike. You know, you got to worry about his kicks, his punches. You also got to worry about his pelvis. He also moving that all weird and stuff. Imagine somebody punching at you and then just I don't know what to do with that. It's very upsetting. Michael Jackson punches you down to the ground again. You hit the ground. You're like, this is it. He's going to kill me. And he's standing over you, towering over you. And when you're waiting for him to hit you with that death blow, he just goes, I don't know, it probably didn't happen, but it's fun to dream. I don't know if y'all heard, and I am not an expert. I'm still learning facts about what happened as it's happening, okay? But this whole like Signal group chat thing is one of the It's truly one of the more insane stories I've seen in a while. Because look, let's be clear with one another, okay? I can only pass so much judgment because I'm not good with two things: phones and secrets. Don't tell me a secret. Don't. You know, I try to be a good friend, and sometimes being a good friend comes with people trusting you with their secrets, and I wish they wouldn't. I really wish they wouldn't, because as an example, I have a friend who she went to Barbados, and I don't think she was drinking or anything, but they drive on the other side of the road and stuff, and she came back from that trip. I try to be a good friend. I asked her how her day's going. I asked her what her trip was like, just inquiring about her life, trying to make a memory together. Oh, wasn't it so funny when I told you that story about ha ha ha, right? And so sure enough, I asked her how was the trip, and she looking shell shocked. She like, I'm like, hey, you okay? What happened? And she was like, I was driving at night. I forgot which side of the road I was supposed to be on. I just felt a thump, and then I didn't know what to do, so I just kept driving. And now I just know that. Even if I wanted to turn her in, I don't know who to call or anything. I'm like, hey, anybody hit recently by a woman driving on the wrong side of the road? And not only do I not know what to do with that, because I was trying to be a good friend, I was trying to listen, right? That was a mistake. Not only do I just know that now, but I just told all of you, like, don't trust me with a secret. I'm also not great with phones. I'm really not. It's embarrassing. I have Gen Z friends who look at me like I'm super old because I don't know what anything is. And then it doesn't help that anytime they helping me download a new app or get on a new game or something, I don't know what happens to you. I used to judge people that were older than me so hard, but I don't know what happens to you when a young person is showing you something and you just can't seem to keep your mouth closed. They're showing me how to do it, and I'm like, I'm not old enough for tongue yet, but that's coming, I used to show my granddad stuff. He'd be like, Ain't no way. And so they're showing me how to use stuff on my own phone. I can't keep my mouth closed, so I know I'm not good with phones. Okay? I'd be handling my phone. You'd be ashamed of me. You saw me on a day with my phone, flashlight on half the time. Out here struggling, wondering why the battery died. They don't make them like they used to. They don't make them at all like these. I also talk about how they used to make phones. That's how I know I'm also getting older. I remember other phones. They don't make them like they used. That battery used to last you the full week. Meanwhile, I'm spotlighting my feet. Look like my feet are on patrol. No, it's insane. And so they're showing me stuff with the phone. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what Signal was. When I saw the story break and I saw that all of these higher-ups, all these people who are supposed to be handling sensitive information at all times, classified information at all times, were using Signal. They were using the Signal app. In my head, this is how bad it is. In my head, I was like, well, didn't the government isn't that the government app? Like, weren't they just using the government app? And then someone explained to me that Signal is just like American WhatsApp. And I was like, oh, that is bad. That is bad. I'm all for modernization too. I'm all for keeping things as modern as possible and learning new stuff. I love when these Gen Z kids are, yeah, that is a loud one. I was trying to, I didn't know what would be ruder, you know what I mean? Like, because I almost said bless you, but then I was like gonna call attention to it, but y'all are like too polite. That is crazy. I was gonna try to talk a little louder, gloss over it and everything, but y'all really at home together. I think that's beautiful that y'all could be like in the mezzanine, bless you! Yeah. No, I genuinely, when they're showing me stuff, I really appreciate it. I enjoy learning new things and everything. Sometimes I'm intimidated by how much I don't know about a program, but baby steps, you learn stuff. And when I heard that they were doing all this stuff on Signal, I was like, maybe that's too modern. Whatever happened to a phone call? Jeremy, in the movies, aren't they always on the phone doing this? Where they're like, yeah, strike. You're like that. You get taken less seriously as a country when you over here calling bomb strikes with emojis. Do you know what I mean? When they make the movie of America Now and you're in it, you don't want to be in it going bloop, 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 bloop. Because everybody old, so they got the phone on loud, and so it's all the, you know, because you keep it on loud when you type in when you old and everything. I do anyway. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Way less badass than like, yes, okay. 1,600 hours, all right. All right. Mission go. Like that's at least in that Top Gun Maverick world. Imagine, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I was like, I get it now. I get it. A part of me was like, I get it. And Top Gun Maverick did a great job of like not saying which country they were killing people from or anything exactly. You know it's kind of Russian, but is it really? And then sure enough, John Hamm standing there. That last sequence. They about to fly off that mission. You worried about Tom Cruise and everything. It's like, hey, these kids are his responsibility, you know. You worried about Rooster. Is he gonna rise to the occasion, you know? He gonna feel his daddy's footsteps. And then John Hamm standing there, arms crossed, and he just goes, send them. That is wild. Imagine if that movie was just John Hamm being like, tick, 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 tick. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call real quick. Oh, they got away. And so there's all the talk around it as well. It's so hard to understand any story that comes out now because the spin is as fast as we disseminate the information. You know? So as soon as we were even hearing about this, there were people that were like, actually, they leaked that on purpose. They added this journalist to the group chat on purpose so that they could look like such a cohesive administration, and then he would leak it, and then they'd be like, yeah, we all friends. Because if you're not familiar with what happened, there was a strike that was being planned in Yemen, right? And there's a journalist that accidentally got added to the group chat, and the people in the group chat are like J.D. Vance and some heads of like intelligence and Pete Hegseth and stuff like that. And no one at first was really owning up to who added him. We later find out that I'm pretty sure Walls added him, and this journalist didn't even think that it was real. It was so dumb. When it happened, this dude, you know, I'm assuming, because he's also a bit older. He said he didn't know it was real until they actually bombed Yemen. And then he, you know, comes forward with, hey, they sent me these plans. He had already left the group as well. When he realized, yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to be in the room. In the room like, let me go ahead and notify the right people. Because I've been added to a group chat before that wasn't supposed to be in. It happens, you know? You just type in these random numbers, add people to the chat. One time, I was chilling on a Saturday. Because I'm also. Open it up, and it's just like 6 numbers. And just one text. So they clearly just started it. And it says, you coming? I could have been a good person. I could have let them know, hey everybody, wrong person in here. I don't recognize any of these numbers. I don't think y'all know me, but have a blessed day. But I didn't do that. That day, evil did win. And so, you know, you coming, we're waiting on you, right? And so I was like, trying to make up my mind. And then they text back in all caps, what, with exclamation point and a question mark and exclamation point, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I don't know if I feel like it today. And they were like, we are all waiting on you. We're all waiting on you right now, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, let me get things together. And sure enough, I was watching TV and I forgot that I was doing this, so some time did pass. And finally I got another text. I was like, hello, all caps, question mark, question mark, question mark. So they mad. And I was like, oh, sorry, traffic. And they text back, traffic with a question mark. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy out here. And then they text back, aren't you upstairs? And admittedly, that was too big of a swing to take, you know? So I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm in traffic, like in my mind, like there's just too much going on right now. And they were like, come down here now, right? And then I text back, what if I don't feel like it? And then they text me, we've been waiting on you, only you, this entire time, and the wedding is in an hour and a half. And so I text back, I don't love him, right? And I see bubbles, right? I see the 3 bubbles going. That bubble is furious. It's disappearing a little bit, whoop, and then like coming right back. So in my head, they cursing me out, right? And then it finally comes through, and it's just 3 letters. It's, who? And I was like, okay, thank goodness. That was too big of a swing to take. I'm glad that I'm not the bride. And I still don't know who I am in the group. And so now I'm like, hey, because now I'm curious. Now I'm more curious than I am worried about being caught. And genuinely, I was like, why didn't they just, like, if we in the same house, why didn't they just yell? Like, why didn't they? Do you have, like, most families would just be like, come on down, why are you texting? So then I text, don't even respond to the who. I just text, how big is our house? Because to me, this must be the Home Alone house. If they are texting me, and I've been upstairs this entire time, and they waiting this long, it must be such a big house, no one can be bothered to walk up. And they text back, how big is our house, with a question mark? I'm like, yeah, how big is it? And then they text, are you not at your apartment? I was like, okay, downstairs does make sense now. It makes sense why they wouldn't come up. Okay, I get you. Everybody is on point except for me. I understand now. And so then I text back, look, yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought it over, and I just don't feel like coming, right? Quickly text back, it is your sister's wedding, and you will support her. And I text back, nah, dog, right? And I knew I messed up because they tried to call me, right? Finally, I had to be like, okay, look, I'm not your relative, with a question mark. I'm just like a random guy. I was just joking. But yeah, you should probably text whoever you think you're texting because they were very late. And I just see bubbles, gone, bubbles, gone, bubbles, gone, gone. And I know I'm getting cussed out. Like, it's bubbles, gone, and then finally the message comes through and it says, I don't have time to deal with you today. please believe when I have the time, I will be addressing you thoroughly. I've never heard a threat like that before. Thoroughly. And so I text back, you text me. So, when it comes to the Signal chat, I'm just glad it didn't happen to me, because I would have made things infinitely worse. It would have been like, we're go for strike in Yemen. I'm like, hey. Y'all ever ate there though? Like, some good spots. Why don't we just let the plane take a day off? Like, chill. They'd be like, who is this? And I'd be like, y'all text me, all right? Asking me who this is. That's like one of the top 5 Southern pet peeves, is like calling the wrong number. And you called the wrong number. And then you're like, who is this? And they're like, you called me. Explain yourself. Who are you? You the one in my house right now with your voice. You're the intruder. Explain yourself. And so, there's this whole thing. We still don't even know the half of it, of what's been going on with Signal, because we also don't know how long they've been using Signal. We don't know why they weren't using more secure methods. And then through, I'm pretty sure, a German publication, they find that some of the top brass in the government are being so unserious with their data that they were able to deliver messages just from personal emails, old emails, and I don't know, man, this is pretty bad. You know what I mean? I didn't recognize how bad it was, and I think a lot of the general public don't really feel like it was that bad, because people say it's a successful mission. That's why some people think the leak was on purpose, because it's like all they did was leak a successful mission. And it's like, morality aside, of what a successful mission means for a country that, I don't know, like, has anybody checked? Are we at war with Yemen? I don't know. Mission success, like, but you bombed it. Why? You didn't even explain why. I feel like no one's even asking why. They're just like, man, do you see that they text the wrong number? And so you have these people appearing before Congress getting grilled by Democrats, which just doesn't really mean much, if we're being honest. Like, getting grilled by Democrats is like getting grilled by a step parent. It's like, you're not my real... But what are you gonna do though? What are you gonna do about it? It's like the first time you get big enough to really step to your dad, and you know you should do it, but you're like, what you gonna do though? I'll show you how to use your phone, old man. I'm training you now. We the same height. No, it's truly devastating. It's bad because never mind the fact that there are so many leaks, so many breaches, so much hacking going on, but there are still, like, potentially entities from other countries that have infiltrated through other hacks that we forgot about because we get hacked so much we don't really care. I knew a dude when I was growing up that had his house robbed so much he moved and didn't tell anybody, but left some of the stuff so they would only rob that place. Bit by bit, consistently. And it feels like that's what we do with our data. We're like, they're gonna get it, let's just parcel it out. And so you see these officials appear before Congress, and people all of a sudden are getting a very abstract interpretation of what war plans are. Because they're being asked point blank by journalists, like, what are those war plans? And they were like, For a group that I'm telling you, I'm positive despises poetry majors. I know for a fact you hate liberal arts, but when they asked you to your face that they were war plants, it's like, what is truly? What is truly an outline of actions, if not enacted upon? Be fit for me? To speak truly of what war is. Does war not start in the soul? War as a concept is all around us. Love is war. Pain is war. Life is truly war. Yeah, but the text message where they said the date and the time and where the pilot was gonna be are those war plans. What does it mean to have a plan, you know? As Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. As the old Southern proverb goes, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Got asked in front of Congress point blank. This was a huge mistake, right? I'm pretty sure it was Walls, maybe it was somebody else, but he was like, no. All right, bro. Okay, do you? Oh, because I wish I knew enough about how intelligence works, and I wish that I knew enough about how strikes work to explain fully how bad this is. But I think we know. I think we as a society kind of know. As soon as you hear the whole story, like, that doesn't sound great. You wouldn't want someone to plan a surprise party like that. Imagine. Your friends try to get you together, and they talking about you so much that one of your friends accidentally adds you, and it's like, well, he's right here. Doesn't that kind of ruin the entire party? No. So much around phones that people don't understand. There was one thing I didn't understand this until recently. I didn't know that you don't know, you have no idea who you are to a woman until you know how you're saved in her phone. Guys, every man in here, we are not ready for the names, for the shorthand. You know how when you save a name, it goes first, last, company? They using that line too. We are not ready to find out how we are saved in the phone. Telling. That's what telling is. I wish I was wrong. I wish it was just me. I wish it was just me getting bullied in other women's phones. These are my friends. These are people I've known for years, and then they saved me some type of way and just never changed it. Years ago, this is why I first had a hunch. Years ago, I was with a friend, and we were hanging out. This has to be like 12, maybe even 15 years ago. We were hanging out, and she lost her phone. So she was like, can you call it for me? And so I call it. And look, we had never been romantic, you know? And we had decided a long time ago, just be friends, right? You know, and calling. I'm hearing a little. And then I find it in between the couch cushions, and my name saved in her phone was Nope. Guys, we're not ready. There's no world where we're ready for how we are saved. And okay, all right. Some of them are so accurate as well that it's like you'll never recover. Okay, I had a friend who, she was hooking up with this guy, and I guess it was a running joke between her and her friends. This is insane to me. This is insane. It's not my joke. This is what I saw. This is what I saw because I was being nosy, because I was like, I can't be the only one. I needed to not be the only one, because nope lasted. That stayed with me, okay? So I was like, let me see what other people are saying, right? And they say this one guy in her phone, and it just said, Little Hitler. And I was like, can you please explain why Little Hitler is calling you right now? Their reasoning for naming, their reasoning was he had kind of a comb over that was a little messy. I was like, hey, you went straight to Hitler? What's wrong with y'all? There was one time where I was out to lunch with a friend, and her phone was going off, and it was facing up, and I wasn't trying to be nosy this time. I felt vindicated. Nope, it's not Hitler. And so I was like, it could be worse. And so her phone was going off, and then finally she went ahead and flipped it. But when she flipped it, she showed it for a second, and I looked, and it said in the phone, saved in her phone as bed bugs. And so I was like, I'm not trying to be in your business or anything. I'm not trying to. But I saw when you flipped it over, because you had flipped it, because I wasn't looking until you flipped it, until it was like this, and I was like, what's that over there? And so I didn't see until you flipped it that you had him say as, do you know who is bed bugs? And she was like, just this guy. I was like, does he have bed bugs? And no, he doesn't have bed bugs at his place. She called him bed bugs because she slept with him one time and can't get rid of him. And so when Walls is like, hey, sometimes people get added to the group chat under a different name, under a wrong name. Hadn't that ever happened to you? And then the nation was kind of like, no, I don't think it has. Not like that, not exactly, unless you have them saved different. You know what I mean? Unless you have this journalist saved as like War Buddy. I don't know why you would accidentally add him to the chat. It's one of the first major screw-ups of the administration, where they themselves are actually like, oh no. Look, we didn't add him by accident, because I don't know if you saw this, but we didn't add him by accident, okay? He hacked in. Yeah, this dude hacked in. They ran with it for a day, and then it died. Because when you look at the journalist, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he doesn't look like he really hacking like that. Like that. I know he got glasses, but not everybody with glasses hacks, all right? Jeez. And so now, they've been ordered by a judge to provide all of these backdated Signal chats that they're definitely gonna delete. Like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, come on now. That's like in one of those sitcoms, and the woman asked the guy for his phone, and he's like, yeah, just give me 20 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. No, it's insane. And it's like, successful mission, but by what metric? Why did we bomb Yemen? I still don't know. I would keep asking, but I'd probably disappear. Curiosity killed. me. And then when they were asked, like, okay, but you're definitely switching things up now, right? Like, you've learned from this mistake, and you're gonna move on, and you're not gonna use Signal anymore. And they, under, I think, oath, went, nah, dawg, nah. Pretty bad.
I'll be honest with y'all though, I've stopped getting mad at white people who just call the cops on black people for no reason. I've stopped getting upset. I've started just retaliating. Now if I see a white person doing anything I don't like or understand, which is none of my business but makes me uncomfortable, I just dial those 3 numbers. You know? I'll just be sitting in the park and just like, you know. Yeah, 911. She kissing the dog way too hard. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is all tongue out here. You need to hurry. It doesn't look like the dog into it. Please get here quickly. I'll be at the grocery store. I'll be checking out at the grocery store. And there'll be like a white guy in front of me. But he's not buying any food from the grocery store. He's getting those weird non-food items that the grocery store sells. So it'll just be like a belt and a knife. I'm like, yeah, 911, please. He looked like Dahmer to begin with. Please hurry. I don't like the way his receipt looks. I've started just calling the cops all white people who I think are calling the cops all me. We just have a standoff. I'm like, well, I didn't dial first. She did, okay? Well, send one for her, send one for me, okay? They could just have a standoff. This might be too niche, but did y'all see the drama happening with the people that the movie The Blind Side is based off of? All right. If you don't know the story, I'll bring up to speed as quickly as possible. Basically, The Blind Side is a movie from 2009 where Sandra Bullock won the Oscar for playing the greatest white woman that's ever lived. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it goes Joan of Arc, Amelia Earhart, this lady, okay? And in the movie, she drives up her car to what I can only describe as the biggest black child that's ever been, all right? He is supposed to be in school, but he looked like a 43rd grader. This is the grownest looking kid I've ever seen in my life. She drives up and he's like, huh? But like, his shoulders got bigger when he turned. It was insane. And then she's like, come home with me, which historically, oh. But then he comes home with them, and then they're like, you should play football. And he does, and then he makes it into the NFL because it turns out being big is a huge advantage. But now, Michael Oher, the guy that the movie is based off of, came out and said that he saw no money from the movie based on his life. And what he actually signed when he was a kid, which is when he thought they were adopting him, what he actually signed was conservatorship so that they could get his money. I know, he thought he was getting a Disney movie, and this nigga got Britney Spears. This is absolutely horrible. And what do you do in that situation? Because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. All the damage has been done. He may never see the money, and it's probably already been spent. You know what I mean? We can't give him his story back. We can't give him back those years he spent trusting them. I think I have a solution, though. All we gotta do is give Michael 2 free tackles. He can use them whenever he wants. I mean, the cost of the medical bills alone will be exactly the money that they stole from him. He's still a huge man. And we won't make a movie, we'll just make 2 TikToks. 1 for each tackle. And then at the end of the TikTok, you'll just be like, blindsided! I'll be brief because I know people are tired of talking about him. But
does feel weird that Trump is this indicted. Like, goddamn. I thought they get him for something. I didn't think they get him for everything. This, as someone who doesn't like him, I thought I was following the story pretty closely. And every time he gets indicted, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know he did that one. That's crazy. This man has 91 felony charges. That's more than most gangs. That is absolutely insane. Man. They giving Trump the full nigga treatment. This is crazy. That dude must check his hands every day to make sure they're still white. Just like, how is this happening to me? And this most recent one is the wildest, you know, because if you aren't familiar in Fulton County where Trump was most recently indicted, this is the first place where they said that they want to process him at the jailhouse instead of the courthouse. Because if they do it at the jailhouse, they'll have to do the fingerprint and they'll have to do the mugshot, which is what he's been avoiding this entire time, which is what lets me know that he's not a good businessman. He's not. Yo, if Trump got his mugshot taken and put that mugshot on a shirt, it would be the highest selling shirt of all time, okay? Forget Supreme. This would be the highest selling shirt in the history of people. First of all of his fans would buy it because they'd be like, look, free my dog Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them would buy it. And then we would also buy it. We'd be like, look at this punk ass on this shirt. Look at this goofy ass on this shirt. Struggling ass on this shirt. He could be printing money, and instead he's, whatever. What a disappointment. He'd make so much money, he'd actually be a billionaire. You know what I mean? I had like a weird memory the other week of this thing happening. I thought I'd share it with you. Like my favorite person to spend time with in the entire world when I was a little kid was my grandma. And everybody knows that I was blessed enough to have grandparents. Grandparents, instant daycare. Anytime your parents got to go somewhere, you're chilling with grandparents, right? So, go everywhere my grandma went. We'd always have a good time. You know? And I remember when I was 8, especially my mom was working really hard and everything. And when I was 8, went everywhere that my grandma went, which meant I was going to hella funerals. Oh, my grandmama's squad was falling off. Like it was rough. It was like 2 funerals a week. I was like, how many people do you know? This is crazy. They were dropping like flies. And that was the worst part too, is that when you go to a funeral with some of the same people every time, at a certain point you start to be like, which one of y'all is next? Like, this is getting uncomfortable. I was wearing my little suit out, okay? I remember there was one funeral in particular, one of the more rhythmic funerals that we had been to. Everyone sort of had this unspoken agreement that when we were doing the sort of funeral procession of viewing the body, it was like to the music, you know? You walk up, you get 8 bars to grieve, and then you move on, you know? And I remember it was my turn, which meant it was my grandma's turn. That'd be weird if I had a turn all by myself. That'd be insane. If an 8-year-old kid walks up to a casket by themselves at a funeral, they killed that person, all right? That's just an 8-year-old walking up to be like, just checking. And so I'm about to walk up with my grandma, but as we start walking, we notice that the lady that was still up there hasn't moved. So she's either still thinking or like overcome with emotion. Something's happening, right? So we just keep walking. We don't want to stop mid-aisle, and so we walk up next to her. So now it's this lady that I don't know, my grandma, and me. And I wouldn't look this up until years later because it gave me nightmares for a while, but I didn't really think to Google it yet. Apparently, long after the process had been done for a body to be presented at a funeral, there's still muscles, there's still nerves that can twitch, right? So as the 3 of us are standing there, the woman in the casket went. And even at 8 years old, I was like, hold it together. Hold it together, stay calm.
Whatever you do, stay calm. Because look, I've been going to a lot of funerals, right? But even as an 8-year-old that's going to a lot of funerals, I still haven't fully conceptualized the idea of death, but I know what it's like to ruin a party, you know what I mean? So I was like, just calm down, hold together. I'm trying to center myself. And then the woman on the other side of my grandma goes, "What?" And for a reason I still don't understand, my grandma turned around to the whole rest of the congregation and was like, "She moved." And everybody cleared out. We all walked out together. It took so long to calm everybody down. It took so long to get people to come back inside, sit down, chill out. Because there were people outside that were like, "Nah, I'm not going back in there." No, ain't no reason to grieve if she risen. I ain't playing with that. Y'all can do what you want, but if she up, she up. All right. In fact, she owe me a little something, so when you get in there, tell her that I won my 15 if this was just like a weekend she was playing Bernie. We get back inside, finally calmed down, finally finishing procession, viewing the body and everything. There was this one woman. I know I saw her, but I caught her because I was sitting second row and I was looking in between two people. This woman hesitant, and she was approaching the body, just, you know. And she went, "Wake up." And even as they were lowering her at the cemetery and they threw the dirt on her, part of me was like, we don't know. We have no idea. I think the other reason that I'm scared of getting older is that, like, we only really value youth, especially in America. You know, other cultures don't always have this problem, and we don't really value what comes with aging. You know, like the wisdom that you get, or the deep level of empathy, because you've now been alive long enough to make your own mistakes and have deep regrets. And so when someone does something to you, it's easier to forgive them potentially because you know what it's like to make a mistake. All that comes with getting older. All your hard work starts paying off when you get older. Everything you do today will, like, you'll see the fruits of tomorrow, you know? But we still are like, nah, I want to be young. I want to look young. I want to feel young. Act young, whatever. I think the main reason I'm scared of getting older is I finally had a bad fall, and it was like I really felt like an old motherfucker too. It was I went down, like, it was terrible. I've been talking all that good shit about Joe Biden this whole time, and then I hit the ground just like him. I was like, because this is the thing, I fought the fall. Like, if I had just fallen like a young man, it would have been respectable. I would have tripped, people would understand and everything, but I fought it all the way down. At one point, I was horizontal, just grabbing stuff like, nonstop, to the point where I actually pulled stuff onto me when I landed. People who didn't know me were like, ooh, I fell so hard, I didn't let anybody help me up. I needed a second to gather myself. You know? There's a little bit more show left. I want to thank all y'all for coming out. My name is Josh Johnson. Have a great rest of the night. I appreciate you.